Hello anybody, and thanks for tuning into Monday Morning Handicapping. This is a quick Cappin video of the 2025 Del Mar Oaks. So a little video rundown. First, a general overview of the Del Mar Oaks. We're going to go over just basic information about the race, the distance and the surface, and provide a few historical facts about the race itself. Then I'm going to do a quick handicapping session of the Del Mar Oaks. I have yet to look at this race, so I'm going to provide some commentary on my real quick capping process, give everybody a little insight into what I'm thinking and maybe perhaps how the general public might be thinking about the race. So it's up to you whether or not you want to follow along with me or go against my selection, just knowing that at least some people out there are thinking about the race in a certain way. And this video is also hopefully to help newcomers generally understand how I analyze a race and come to a selection. Then that's going to lead into how I might play the race, any potential wagers I'm interested in, and then overall takeaways and or final notes, how the race dynamics would best suit my selection. So the 2025 Del Mar Oaks, it's taking place on Saturday, August 16th, 2025 at Del Mar. And you can see a little diagram of the race itself. So they're going to start up here in the chute. They're going to run down, come around the stretch for the first time, pass the finish line once, go all the way around, come back down, and here they will finish. It's race number 8. It's going to take place at approximately 5:33 Pacific Standard Time. We have a field of 11 with one also eligible. So if one horse scratches out, the also eligible horse would enter in. It's a grade 1 stakes race on the turf for 3-year-old fillies going a distance of 9 furlongs, which is a mile and an eighth. It's a $300,000 purse. This race has been a grade 1 since 1994. This race first began in 1957 when it was an 8 furlong or 1 mile race on the dirt. And trainers Leonard Powell and Phil D'Amato are the only trainers to win this race 2 times in the last 7 years. And now I'm going to move over to the racing form itself and just start handicapping the race and providing commentary and just talking about what I see, what I'm looking at. So here we are, the 8th race, the Del Mar Oaks. You can see up here the little diagram. And this is a conventional racing form, so all these fractions here are for the leaders of the individual race that we're looking at. You can modify your racing forms when you buy them a certain way. It costs a little extra, but you can change these numbers to show how fast this particular horse is racing or how fast the leader of the race is going. So in this instance, it's just the leader of the race itself. So looking at number 1, Slick, 15-1 on the morning line. Its last race was at a mile and a 16th over this track in a much lower field. This horse closed to get 3rd place, lost to another horse that is in this race. This horse was favored coming off that layoff of about 7 months. This horse rallied 5 deep, so it was wide on the track going around the turn, so losing ground. So 24, he was well off the pace, a 25-second next quarter, 24-1 to this quarter, and then a sub 30 to finish it off. So it was coming home okay, but the leaders got a little bit of a slow early pace. However, it is a mile and a 16th, so somewhat honest, not too fast, not too slow. This horse couldn't get the job done at a much lower level. This horse just broke its maiden, but we do have Phil D'Amato, who has won this race in the past, twice in the last 7 years. This horse looks to be somewhat of a closer, is going to need a lot of speed to help set it up. Ran into grade 3, wasn't very close. Hit the rail, had a little bit of traffic. So coming back from its 2 to 3-year-old year, matched its top buyer, so that tells me it could improve. It's still a young horse. Came back off the layoff, ran wide and closed all right. Rispoli gets off, so he's probably on another horse, I would guess, in this race. The jockey that's on him now is a 7% win rate, not very high. So this horse looks like it's just taking a step up in class. Number 2, Take a Breath, 12-1 on the morning line. Hector Barrios, a well-known turf rider. He hits at 22%. This horse is shipping from overseas, coming from Great Britain. This trainer is 2 for 6 with first time in North America runners. The jockey and trainer have teamed up. They're 1 for 1 this meet so far. This horse not running in any graded stakes overseas, so definitely taking a big step up. Overseas breeding, so should like the turf, has run on the turf. 5 times, has won 3 times. Won its last race by a neck as the favorite in a lower class. Would like to see him win by a little bit more. We can read some notes. The overseas racing form doesn't have a lot of information, so we can read in last, rally, second, lost position, weakened, in touch. So last race was last. The race before that was second, so maybe doesn't like to go to the lead. Could press the lead. Might be a little bit close. Looks like a step up in class, plus the ship from overseas. I would lean towards fading against this horse, but it is relative to the rest of the horses in this field, so let's carry on. Number 3, Velocity, 15-1 on the morning line. Gonzalez, 19% win rate right now, so not too bad. This horse just won by nose at odds of 3, almost 4 to 1 in an optional claiming race. Inside, angled out rally, so sounds like it got a decent trip along the rail, didn't lose much ground. Ran in a grade 3. Was it the same grade 3? No. As the number 1 horse? No, it was not. Was wide in this race. Going down the hill at Santa Anita. Looked like it just stayed on, stretched out. Now is a 3-year-old, as all these runners are, but coming off almost a year layoff and ran a career best buyer. So maybe this horse is just improving, needed that little maturity. So this horse could also improve. It's another big step up from an optional claimer into a grade 1. Was closing all right in the sprint races, a 6-second final 1/8 of a mile here, and was closing, so was making up ground. Arguably ran that's a 6-second final 16th, which equates to about a 24-second quarter, which is solid, and he was closing into it. Stretched out to a further distance, closed in a sub 30 yet again, so this horse could improve. Number 4, Resolve, 20 to 1 on the morning line, hasn't raced since April. Its last win was a maiden win at Del Mar track, going a distance of 1 mile. That race was pretty quick against maiden, so those front runners had every right to tire out. Its most recent race looked like it sort of stalked the front and faded. Ran at Turf Paradise. We can scratch that. A synthetic surface. Maybe the horse didn't like it. Ran an optional claimer 100,000. Second by a nose, not to a next out winner. Second by 1 length, not to a next out winner. Its most recent race lost to another horse that's in this race. You can tell by the bold lettering, Firenze Fire, or Firenze Flavor, I should say. Leonard Powell, one of the trainers that's won it twice in the last 7 years. This horse is training pretty well coming into this race. 4-47, 4-48, 5-101. Has run okay. Optional claimer 100,000. Kind of stalked the leaders here and faded, took the break and is coming back. This horse, or this trainer off the layoff, is 16%, 20 to 1 on the morning line. We'll keep going. Lush Lips, 3 to 1 on the morning line. Won its last race, a stakes race for $210K. Won an optional claimer 75 at Gulfstream Park, which is a pretty fast strip of racetrack. Went to the front. Looks like a horse that wants to go to the front. Did not go to the front here. Was ranked between early, so between horses. Throwing its head around a little bit. Looks like maybe they opted to try to teach this horse to rate a little bit. Come from a little bit off the pace because it did the same thing that's next race. Did not appear to be keen at all. This horse lost against Nitrogen, who's a really good runner. Won very decisively in a 2010 or $210,000 stake race. Came home in the final quarter in 23-3 closing, so that's pretty impressive there. Is going quite a bit further distance. Hasn't run this distance before, but has run a mile and a 16th. Faded once and lost to Nitrogen again, who's really good. Couldn't really catch up to Nitrogen when coming from off, but that's a grade 2 and a grade 3. This is a grade 1, but it's relative to the rest of the field. No other horses so far have run in a grade 1. This horse looks like it could just be in good form. We'll keep on going. Edge of Molly, 15 to 1, has run mile races, just broke its maiden, so first ever race. Was a bit slow there, looks like a closer. Came home in 24-4 while closing a little bit. That race again was a little bit quick early, so those front runners, especially in maiden race, had every right to slow down a little bit, and this horse got the job done as the favorite. Should have won. I like to see a little separation when they do win as the favorite. This horse ran second overseas against the next out winner. Came back, first race in North America, closed, couldn't get the job done, probably needed the race, came back, ran really well over this track. This horse could also improve as well, but a huge step up facing winners for the first time in a grade 1. Number 7, Will Then, ran in a grade 2 last time out, ran third, saved ground, gained third, so got a pretty decent trip coming off of a couple month layoff, not too long. Ran against Nitrogen, lost to Lush Lips by about a length and 3/4, was wide there. Won the race before at Santa Anita, pretty much stalking the pace, running pretty well, got to top jockey Hernandez. Ran at Del Mar, was maybe a little too far back, could not get the job done against 2 other runners that are going to be in this race. Again, save ground, could improve, second off the layoff. Best race was at Santa Anita, stalking that pace. So it looks like we have a bit of a potential front runner in the 5, potential front runner in the 7. So far everyone else seems like a mid-pack or closer. Come down to Firenze Fire. Last race, 3 wide, 2 wide. So not too wide in this race against some mutuals in this. Ran 4th behind 3 others that are in this race. The race before at Santa Anita, going this distance, it won by a nose. Not too wide. The fractions seem relatively moderate. Still got up though. Final 1/8 of a mile was in 12-4, so a little bit slow. Got up by a nose. 25-2 to the mile. It's closing. This one just looks like a closer. Probably would need a meltdown of the pace. I don't see enough speed yet to tell me that that race is going to melt down much, or in other words, the front runners slow down a whole lot. This horse has matched its career best Beyer of a 78 last time out. Just couldn't really make up much ground on some of these other runners. It was 22-1, so the public didn't really think this horse had a great shot in this race and was 3 lengths off of the leaders. Number 9, Cassaloot, 10-1. Most recent race, second in the Grade 2. Won a $100,000 stake the last 2 races before that. Back here at Del Mar, Grade 3. Went and got the lead closing and then faded. Maybe made that move a little too soon in a pretty quick pace early on. Second to Thought Process by length and 3/4, so a pretty decent margin to lose by. Did just match a best Beyer, coming from about a 5-month layoff. Looks like it wants to stalk the pace runners. Has a nice bullet workout coming in, 10-1. $700,000 purchase price. Medagliadoro, Uncle Mo. Looks like a talented horse. The blinkers on seem to have helped, but still behind Thought Process just a little bit. Let's see how Thought Process is looking. Rispoli gets on this horse. Barrios on another horse. A Phil D'Amato, one of the 2 trainers that have won twice in the last 7 years. This horse is favored plenty of times. You can tell by this asterisk here. Looks like it can go to the lead or stalk just off of the lead. Its last race at Del Mar won pretty convincingly. 24 and change, and less than 24 seconds for the final quarter. Pretty impressive. Can it handle the longer distance? If we look at the distance Tomlinson, 3:54. Distance shouldn't really be an issue. What happened with this one dud of a race? It was a Grade 1, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf. Just probably went way too fast there. Couldn't hang on. That was as a 2-year-old. Comes back and has been 2 for 2 since. Looks like it's going to be up front. Now it's a matter of will she be able to handle this distance. Phil D'Amato's a very good trainer, especially on the turf. I think could definitely have this horse ready. Number 11, Miso Fancy. Leonard Powell, one of those trainers that have won twice in recent years, was boxed in, kind of blocked in this Grade 3. Last race, 2-3 wide around the turns. Closing a little bit, but never really threatened. Going a further distance could help this horse. Won a state-restricted optional claimer for $50,000, going 6 furlongs. That's a relatively weaker field. Looks like this is just a big step up and is a closer. Striver, they're also eligible, so this horse won't even race if no other horses scratch out of this race, but let's see how it's doing. Stretching out from 5 furlongs up to 9 furlongs. Bit tight and was shuffled early, so had a little bit of trouble early. This horse is still a maiden, has yet to win a race. Some good breeding, quality road, Uncle Mo. I just think it's a too big of a step up, so now I'm going to go back and just make sure I know what the pace of the race is going to look like. This could be a mid-pack or closer. This horse a little unsure about, but Barrios does get off of the big favorite. Thought Process, whether that was the trainer's decision or the jockey switch, that remains a big question, but Rispoli, one of the better turf riders, as well as Barrios, so can't go wrong with either one, but Barrios does take on to this number 2. Looks like a big step up. Might stalk the pace, but down on the inside. Could get shuffled back. Number 3 again was wide in that Grade 3. Came back, ran okay. Actually won an optional claimer, but against a softer field. Suppose could improve. Would need a little bit of a meltdown on the front end. Resolve has won its maiden race. Close at optional claimer 1,000. When it got a good trip. This horse would just need a really good trip and a step up. Not too keen on the 4 myself. Number 5, Lush Lips. In really good form right now since switching trainers. Coming over to North America. Seems to be able to handle the distance. Lost to nitrogen. Looks like it learned to rate a little bit. Gaffleone back on. Pratt off. So this horse looks like it could inject a little bit of speed if it wants to, or it's going to take back a little bit, but who's it going to take back behind? This horse coming out of a maiden race, hard to really lean on this one too heavily. It won and apparently was supposed to, based on the betting by the public, was 150-1 in its first race, ran second, came over here, probably needed the race, went off favored. That one's a little interesting underneath, maybe not on the win side. Will then save ground against Thought Process, still couldn't really make it too competitive. Express race was stalking a moderate pace, 23-4, 23-2. So finished up strongly, went a further distance, didn't run great, came back, didn't run great. Grade 2, not too wide, 3 wide, a little wide, not too bad. When did it win? It was stalking, got the job done at a mile against optional claimer 100,000. Won a Grade 3, 6-horse field at 7-1. Cassaloot looks like it could be up near the front. Bob Baffert trainee, not known for his turf, but I think he's been having some more turf runners as of late, it would at least appear. Horse can come from a little bit off. Thought Process could go to the lead, is in really good form. Is it going to handle the extra distance? Grade 2, Grade 3. Lost that big race, came back, won easily in allowance, won a grade 2 at this track. Horse seems to like the track plenty. 4 starts, 3 wins, can forgive the big race. Thought process looks pretty tough. I hate to admit, the favorite looks like maybe definitely the one to beat. This horse had a little bit of trouble 2 back. This wasn't very close. It's closing a little bit, and the extra distance might help that horse. So let's look at horses where the distance might help. Say it helps the 1. It's going to be coming from a little ways off, though. It's going to be pretty far back, it looks like, based on the times and the times that some of these other horses have ran. Has no wins on the track. This horse coming from overseas. Again, these ones are always hard to suss out. Horse has been pretty well backed by the public. This horse came back to win after being wide in that grade 3 going down the hill. 24 and 1 to the mile, to the 3/4, sub 30 for the final 3/16. It's a pretty decent close. Resolve has a win over the track. Had some trouble in the grade 3 against some of these others. Looks like the 5 has learned to rate a little bit. 6, I think, just got the benefit of relatively weaker field going too fast and picked up the pieces. This horse has never really threatened thought process. Has lost to him 3 times. To her, rather. This horse gets a big jockey upgrade to JJ Hernandez, second off of a little bit of a layoff. Added distance could help. Looks like the 9 wants to go to the front, the 10 can sit right off, the 5 can sit off. This horse does not have a race over the track. So ultimately it came down to my top selection being number 10, Thought Process, 8-5 on the morning line. Boring, I know it's the favorite, but this horse looks to be the best of the field, has a good record over the track, has a great turf trainer in Southern California, has a versatile running style, can take what's given to her. If she needs to go to the lead and win, it looks like she can do that. If she needs to stalk a little bit, she can certainly do that. The distance is a little bit of a question mark, but I just think that this horse is classy and doesn't need to go for the lead, can just stalk off the lead and should be able to sustain the pace. I don't see a ton of speed in here, so looks like she should just have some of the best kick in the race. I think can sit second or third early within a length or 2 and just wait for the cue to go and run on, and she has the class to withhold everyone else that should be closing. However, my play is going to be not betting number 10 Thought Process to win due to her perceived low odds. I think she might even be lower than 8-5, maybe 6-5, maybe even money. But I will play a 50-cent trifecta, number 10 in first place, with the 1, 3, and the 8 in second place, with the 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 11 rounding out in third, for a total wager of $7.50. Going to try to catch a little bit of a long shot in second place, hopefully in third place as well. Capitalize on the short odds being in first. I just think she's the horse to beat. So try to catch a long shot underneath, and hopefully this ticket, best case scenario, might pay $50 bucks or so. Worst case, we lose, obviously, because we are taking some long shots in second. So I think this bet does have the chance to pay maybe even closer to $100 if it does come in the best possible scenario. That might be a pipe dream, but it could pay decent getting a longer shot in second place. And just some key takeaways from what I was looking at. Number 10, Thought Process, looks to be the classiest and best horse in the race, hence the low morning line odds of 8-5. This horse can win on the lead or coming from off the pace. Will need to avoid being too wide around the turns, going 9 furlongs for the first time. The horses that I picked in second, the 1, 3, and the 8, are all horses that have decent careers so far and could improve here. Some of them have had trouble before, but it looks like the added distance should help them second off some of their layoffs. They have a closing running style and can pass some of the other runners that may try to outrun Thought Process early. The added distance should help these horses' running style. And I'm fading the second choice on the morning line, number 5, Lush Lips, 3-1 on the morning line, out of the second spot in the trifecta, because I think this horse will want to try and stay close to the front, is going a long distance, has a new jockey aboard that did not win from off the pace when on her last time, and has never run over this track before. I think this horse could win, could run second, but I'm going to go with my gut and just go against this horse, try to catch one of those longer shots in second. If this horse runs second anyways, I can't imagine the trifecta paying more than $10, to be honest, just because it is the top 2 favorites in the betting. So many people have that combination, it's going to decrease the payout. So I'm going to go against Lush Lips in second, just because of all the things that I had mentioned. So I think that's reason enough and a cheap enough trifecta to try to take a stab with the horse that I think is the horse to beat, number 10, Thought Process. That's it for my recap on the Del Mar Oaks. Thanks to anybody for watching. Feedback is appreciated. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and or share with friends. I try to explain everything very clearly and simply because my target audience is for folks that are relatively new to the sport. So if things seem redundant or obvious, that's why I'm trying to talk to people that have maybe never read a racing form before and just try to show them what I'm looking at and what it makes me think about. If you do know anyone that is relatively new to the sport or wants to learn more about horse racing, I do have a couple of playlists. One is how to read a racing form. I've taken friends to the racetrack before and they don't really want to get into the racing form. It looks like too much to learn, too much information, but the racing form is there to help the player make an educated decision on who they think is going to win the race. So the more people that can collaborate and come up with ideas and look at things that maybe I'm not seeing, the better. It's a real fun game to collaborate and project what you think is going to happen in any given race. So I want more people to learn how to read the racing form for themselves, and I hope that it helps grow the sport. Again, that playlist is how to read a racing form. I break down the racing form into little bite-sized pieces. There's 10 videos, they're a couple minutes each, and I just explain what each little section is telling you very simply. Once you master that, I have another playlist, Betting on Horse Racing, and that's where I go over all the bets that a track typically offers. I talk about how much those bets cost, what the bets are, how you can structure your ticket, and how the cost of the bet is going to differ depending on how you structure your ticket. And then I cap each video off with some things that I look for before placing each type of wager. If I like a certain horse on a certain day, how I might play them depending on the bet. So a couple of playlists there. If you know any newcomers, share those with them. I'd really appreciate it. Coming up next, I think I'll do another quick Cappin video tomorrow night on Sunday's Long Acre Miles at Emerald Down. That's a racetrack on the West Coast up in Washington. I really like the West Coast tracks. I like smaller tracks, so I want to give Long Acres Mile a little bit of publicity if I can. So I like to handicap those races as well. It's kind of in my backyard, so look for that coming up next. My selection on the Long Acres Mile at Emerald Downs. But thanks to anybody for watching. Good luck if you're playing the races, and I'll see you next time.